back for one whole day. Dad will be back.
What? Back? Like back to life? That's not possible.
It is.
I love how the mom is like,
Um,
wait, he had this where he could come back and then come back to see me?
Well, he knew that mom got a new dude, so he's like, you. You know?
He didn't know that before he died.
Yeah, bitch, you could have waited. No, he's like, bitch, you could have waited. I gave you a spell, and you knew. You knew I was going. You know I was coming back. And I told your ass to wait. I told you.
That's why I'm bringing my dick and my legs back. Give me some pussy.
Onward is a movie that says, you know what? Let's take not just medieval times, but fantasy medieval times, a time of elves, a time of wizards, a time of magic, and let's put it next door to the strip mall. You know, let's put it right next to a Costco, you know, Walmart. People had these staffs and wands, and they had to be doing all kind of patronums and flick of the wrist and all, you know, and they had to go through a lot of work, and then a motherfucker has been a light bulb, and people like, this. I'm doing up here I've been trying to start this fire for 2 days.
All the
Shit.
time I'm trying to levitate to get over there when I can just drive a car.
Yeah. Wizards were just out of a job a week later. Electricity came and all of a sudden magic didn't mean shit.
Man, technology trumps magic every time.
Every time. I don't know why everybody wants to go live in Lord of the Rings world and whatnot. People, we got magic right here.
Yeah.
Lights.
We have vaccines.
Shit, we got vaccines. Why do I go want to hang out with a bunch of dirty ass orcs and shit when I got the internet at home and air conditioning, you know?
Indoor plumbing.
Indoor plumbing, yeah. I mean, yeah, magic is cool, but you still got to shit outside, don't you? I don't. And this is what we have right here. This is a modern world where they said, to hell with magic. I mean, it's still around. Ain't nobody using that shit. That's like AOL.
Anybody use it? Yeah, it's like MySpace or something.
Ain't nobody using that no more. Magic, no. We have electricity. We have modern times. We have internet. We have everything we need at the press of a button, kind of like now. Except the difference in our world is that elves are taking advantage of technology.
Yeah.
And people have dragons for pets. And
Right, all the fantasy creatures are still around.
and those damn unicorns digging them out. Get out my goddamn trash.
You gotta love that. Like at some point, the unicorns are just vermin.
Just vermin. Yeah, I mean, man. You know how magical unicorns
you catch
are here?
one, you catch one, you get their magic or whatever.
Oh,
now it's like, oh fuck, they're the
Over
unicorns
there,
again.
no, those not even raccoons. Those are possums. You know, yeah, man. So it has its inconveniences too, but very similar to our world. And you got two kids here, Ian and Barley, and you know we're modern kids. Hey, we're hip daddy, yo, but you know, yeah, we're modern kids. We don't use magic either, unless magic allows us to bring our dead dad back. But see, here's the thing about magic. Magic always comes with a catch. Because it's magic, it's a spell that will only bring him back for one day.
This is why we switched to technology.
That's why, yeah. Now, see, if you have froze that motherfucker cryogenically and wait to thaw him out when technology caught up, you have him all day long. You have him for years. But here, it's a limited time only deal. And so they're trying to actually go and get to know their dads that they didn't really get to know that well. Ian wasn't even born. Barley was a young kid. But, of course, another thing about magic, it's very tricky, very, very easy to screw up. And so they end up just bringing back a pair of pants and some shoes. Can they actually get dad back? Because they have until sunset, or is it sunrise?
That's sunset.
Sunset. They have until sunset to bring dear old dad back. Let's go ahead and take a look at this trailer for Onward.
Morning, Mom. Hey, birthday boy.
By the laws of yore, I must dub thee a man today.
Well, if you don't put that shit down, tired of your He does this the whole movie. I know you an elf, but you ain't got to act like one.
Can we please?
Just for one morning. Yeah, just one morning, please.
Kneel before me.
That's okay. I have a gift.
I'm back for one whole day. Dad will be back.
What? Back? Like back to life? That's not possible.
It is.
I love how the mom is like, wait, he had this where he could come back and then come back to see me?
Well, he knew that mom got a new dude, so he's like, you. You know?
He didn't know that before he died.
Yeah, bitch, you could have waited. No, he's like, bitch, you could have waited. I gave you a spell, and you knew I was going. You know I was coming back, and I told your ass to wait. I told you.
That's why I'm bringing my dick and my legs back. Give me some pussy.
You know. I'm gonna come and holler at the boys, and then I'm gonna get that ass. Now, what you doing? And then you go and marry a horseman. What the? You knew these kids were gonna this up. If you had done this, I'd be here right now.
Oh, a horseman. Oh no.
It's getting harder to hold.
That's something you don't want to say when holding a staff. It's getting harder. Oh my god.
They really did that up needlessly.
They know. It's like no wonder it didn't work.
Yeah.
You two dumbasses.
Oh, I'm having trouble. Rather than let me help you. Oh, well give it to me then. What? No.
Goddamn.
So they did it the way my mother does things. I'm like, oh, let me. My mom's like, just give it to me.
Yeah, Jesus.
Just,
Why did you give it to these boys? You knew they were gonna this up. These goddamn medieval two stooges over
When they
here.
turn 16, you might want to wait till 18 or
Yeah.
21.
The motherfucker
Maybe when they
can't even
turn 30.
He can't even drive a car. How you gonna trust him with magic?
It's getting harder to hold.
I knew they're gonna this up.
God
There's
damn.
another half of him somewhere like you
What-
gave it to the boys, didn't you?
Yeah, what
Jesus.
did you do?
Oh, he's just legs.
Come to the right tavern.
Oh no.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. And listen, don't judge what I'm about to say about the movie from this, but I kind of like it better when your boy did it first. This is all over that Flintstone formula. They've been down in them vitamins, Flintstones vitamins right here. They overdosed on the shit.
Those vitamins.
they crushed the shit and just, yeah, well, let's do this.
Huh, I never tried them like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's awesome, man. I recommend you do. Just get a rolling pin and just go at it, man. Nah,
like
man.
Smurf houses.
You know, this is well, the reason why I say that, and again, I'm not trying to say that the movie's bad. I'm not trying to say it's good, but this is very much the Flintstones formula. But you know what the Flintstones formula is? You know, it's where you take things from another time period and you say, what would it be like if it was in our time period? Or you take things from another world and you say, oh, you know what would be crazy if it was in our world right now?
And why don't you go first, Ronnie? I don't know what to say.
Oh, brother, every customer the same.
Just shut the up and sing already. Oh, brother. Yeah, you know, they always did that where it was a sight gag about something that would clash with our world, and somehow we made it part of our world. So it's a bird that's used as a needle for a record. You know, it was, or it'd be some animal that would replace something that would be a modern device here that would be done with mechanics.
Yeah.
You know how you know
Yeah,
the
like,
formula.
like you open up the sink and then it's a pig dinosaur that's the garbage disposal like they did in the
Exactly.
movie, which I thought was real clever. But
Yeah.
It's a little.
Yeah, it's a living.
Yeah.
It's a living. Yep. But then, and you know how they take it and to actually make it relatable, whether it's in another time period from Mars or just in our time period, they'll give you the middle class family because, you know, the middle class, well, you know, they're not dirt poor, so you ain't got to feel sorry for them the whole time. They ain't rich either. Hey, they're just like you. They're relatable just like you. They
They
got
can afford movie tickets just like you.
just like you. Yeah. You know, they got sort of the same problems that you do.
What?
You're wearing your dad's sweatshirt.
Oh, you know, finally fits.
His Gryffindor
Chubby
sweatshirt.
cheeks is all grown up.
Okay, Mom, I gotta eat something before school.
You know what? I'm sorry, y'all. Let me stop this I'm sorry. I know I do this all the time. I know y'all probably sick of it. And I don't even want to do it, but Mom can get it, man. Mom got the hand. I know y'all know where that was gonna go. And the only reason why I was gonna say it is because somebody even texted me and they said, "Have you seen Onward?" I'm not lying to you. And I'll show you the text at some point. I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Mom's hot, isn't she?" I was like, you know what? Yeah, she is, man. She, you goddamn right. Mom got them curves on her, and Pixar does this shit, man. They know what they're doing. Shit, half my solo sessions right now are spent with Pixar moms.
I tell you, well, Incredibles 2, they didn't even they embraced it though.
They did.
Incredibles
They
2,
did.
they were like, all right, mother, this is what y'all want?
Yeah.
Here's what you get.
They
And
know.
Fuck you, porn parodies. We got this
They
on
beat 'em
lock.
to it.
Yeah.
They put her ass in the air every 2 seconds in
Sure.
that movie.
And they got
Yeah. No, her having a motorcycle like that every time she had to
I mean, Hathaway didn't do that much
It's
ass
like-
in the third Batman.
Yeah, she got on that motorcycle ass. She's like, you ain't got to raise your ass that high.
Right,
you know,
right.
you know that. Mom thick as looking in the sticking that ass out when she exercises. I love it. And listen, and I'm gonna tell you something. And Pixar knows what they're doing. It don't help when they sending out subliminal images and messages. Don't help the wallpaper look like vaginas. It's crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Man, boy, you really dug into this
Yeah,
deep
you
because
did. I mean, look, I see it now, but I wouldn't even think of that at all.
Never.
Like,
You know what? But Martin, you see it now.
I
You ain't gonna look at
anything else
You ain't
now.
gonna look at that wallpaper again. The reason why I bring up comparing this to the Flintstones is because I think that's the problem that I have with this movie. One of the biggest problems that I have with this movie is that when Pixar is at their best, what they do is they do stories that take us to fantasy worlds that feel real. You know, the emphasis is not on pointing out, hey, look at the world we built. Look at all these clever images that we have here. They don't do that. What they do is they create a story that whisks you away into this world to the point where you don't even really recognize it all that much. You're just living in it. Say what you will. I'm not the biggest fan of the Cars series. I actually like Cars 3. Didn't care about Cars 1 and Cars 2. I dislike very much. But one thing I can give them credit for is that they do create a world where you're just in it. The world speaks for itself. Now, it don't usually make sense when it's talking. I don't get why there's tractors as cows, but it's not a joke. It's just like, hey, this is part of our world. Whether you buy it or not, we're not bringing emphasis on it. We're in it. I can give them credit for that. I don't think that this movie is doing it. And by the way, none of those tractors are those cars are animal cars. They never look at the camera and say, it's a living. They don't do any of that. I believe, I'm gonna pass it on to you. The problem with this movie for me is that I think that they spend too much time making fun of the world instead of actually building it. This is a world that has evolved to accommodate its inhabitants, its creatures.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not about that evolution of this world that we have here. It's about the visual gag in this movie. To the point where some of those things don't even make sense if this is what we have evolved to. Because first of all, I'm going to talk about Colt Maroy, whatever his name is, the Centaur Police, their stepfather. There's a gag where he has a car, and his big horse ass can't even fit in there.
Right.
And I'm like,
well, who built that?
Yeah, it's like
because it'd be different if these medieval characters came to the future and just took over the technology we already had. But they built this themselves.
They built this themselves, so it's like, that's on you. Bitch, get a bigger car.
Right. I mean, if he stole someone else's car, it's different.
Yeah. But I mean, it would be designed to be more ergonomic for the people who are going to be in it.
He's trying to get at that car like, I don't feel bad for you. Get a bigger car. You know your ass is too big to be in there.
Yeah.
That's your fault. Let me cut Tyler Perry down. They're not thinking about the logistics of it. It's just like, oh, that's just a funny gag that we're going to do. He looks funny trying to pull his big ass out of a car.
Right, because they want to make that character a buffoon. He's the stepdad.
Yeah.
So the kids don't respect him, and they want you as the audience to not respect him because look how goofy he is. He can't even get out of a car. But if you stop and think about it, it's like, especially by the time you get to the end of the movie, it's like, wait, there was no reason for us to have negative feelings towards that character.
No,
Why'd y'all do that?
Yeah, why'd you stuff his ass in that little ass car right there?
Yeah.
Why'd you give him a decent car? He can be dumb in other ways, but at least let him buy a car that fits.
Just even why make him dumb?
Yeah. And you know what? I give it to him. He's not all that dumb. He's just corny. I get it. They just go out of their way to make him goofy and kind of corny. He's not really dumb. He's just corny, but that's what they're doing.
He's corny up until he can't fit in his own car.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then he's dumb.
And at that point, that's why I say it's dumb because it goes against his character too. It's just like, hey, that's just a visual gag that you thought was funny. Does it really play into the story or his character at all? Not too much. You talked about those pixies, man. The other thing, hey, isn't it funny that these little pixies are actually the biggest assholes in this world?
You got a problem, Shane?
You bitch. But I look at it and it's like, all right, well, we had We had years, thousands of years to get to where we are right now. Y'all couldn't evolve to accommodate these little people right here?
Yeah, you couldn't make little motorcycles.
You couldn't make little motorcycles? Damn, I thought America was racist. Shit, y'all just, at least they gave us cars. You know, y'all forgot about a whole race over here. Yeah.
I mean, unless they got a whole thing of like, we ain't driving that little shit.
Okay, then you know what? Then 100 of y'all stuff yourself in this motorcycle and get your asses in there and get around the best way you can.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing about it. Oh, and that's another thing too. You know, it's that's why I mean by it's set up as just a joke, because what we have here, it's even it's a bigger setup for things that are just situations that we see that feel like they are like obligated to do for a road trip movie or a quest movie.
Right.
Which this is both.
Yeah. And I thought about that. I was like, oh, not another road trip. But I was like, all right, we're dealing with something with medieval fantasy.
Yeah.
A quest is involved. Okay.
A quest is fitting.
I can let that go for this.
But
it's still kind of lazy, but all right.
Yeah, and see, that's the problem for me, man. It's like, even then, when you have these, it'd be one thing if these were one-off jokes, but then they lead into these obligatory scenes that you see all the time in this genre of film, or this type of road trip movie or quest, especially the road trip. Look, if they ain't going into a bar and pissing off the biggest, meanest man, then they somehow are always running the bikers.
Yeah.
Where even if they happen to be just little pixies. And
they're gonna knock a bunch of motorcycles over.
These guys come up here in every movie. These motorcycle gangs, they come up and they line these motorcycle gangs line their shit up for the dumbass protagonist to knock that shit over.
Domino the shit down.
Like they're daring somebody to do it.
Yeah, they're daring somebody, and you know it happens a lot. And what do? When it happens here, then we just go to a car chase. Mm-hmm. Nothing big. You know, everybody does it, but I don't mind if you do it, but put a spin on it. Pee Wee Herman knocked down a goddamn mile of motorcycles, but what he do? At least he gave us, you know, the tequila. You know,
the tequila dance.
It's like he went and got some platform shoes out of nowhere and just started doing this crazy ass dance. Like, well, I never saw that coming.
Right. Nobody did.
Yeah, nobody did. Like, the is he? I don't know what he's doing, but I like it.
Yeah, right. That's why he can get his ass whipped in the bar. They were like, well, let's see where this goes, Holmes.
Yeah. And they loved it so much they gave him a motorcycle.
Yeah, exactly.
He wrecked that shit immediately. It feels like they have completely ignored this whole aspect of this is a world that took years to build, what feels like hundreds of, not even thousands of years to get to where it is. And what that does is that adds an inconsistency to some of the subplots that we have here. Because sometimes the movie will feel like, oh, it took hundreds of years to get to where we are right now. And then sometimes it feels like, oh, it took about 2 decades.
Uh-huh.
They got that, what creature is that?
The Manticore?
The Manticore. Name Corey, by the way, and I would love to get a fellow Corey's back, or in this case, a female Corey's back, but this doesn't make sense to me right here. Because I know y'all saying, y'all just, can't you just laugh at this shit? It's a joke. Let it move on. No, I cannot. Because once it interferes with the storytelling, then that's where I get a little confused. The Manticore, voiced by
Octavia Spencer.
Octavia Spencer. She's a creature that years ago used to protect maps that led to magical objects. She protected magical objects when magic was back in its heyday. Now it feels like just 15 years later, she owns a Chili's or Medieval Times, a chain restaurant. She owns a franchise where she took the maps and actually put them on the wall. You know, it's like, wait a minute. So if she was the actual protector of that magic, that just doesn't feel consistent with the timeline that we're going by here.
Quick, somebody help me! These Griffin nuggets were supposed to.
Girl, this shit is hot.
Minutes ago. Whoa, sir, you're right in the hot zone. You're late, Adolphus.
What'd you say, bitch? You really? What? Get your shit and get out. You're fired.
Yeah, how is he not fired?
What'd you say? You think I don't understand that language?
Your fearlessness? My brother and I seek a map.
They're all based on my old maps. The great Manticore sends you on your adventure with a hero's blessing, and here's some crayons.
The movie works when it's doing stuff like that, man.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's actually,
you're right about the voice.
It's actually a very funny scene, man. How you feeling about this so far?
Well, honestly, it's one because with all these things you're bringing up about it just feeds into my point with this movie where Pixar is really known for having these movies where they build these worlds and they really take their time. They make them intricate and there's all kinds of details you don't notice. And by the time you get to the end, it's all really makes sense. And every so often they have one that's low effort. Like the Good Dinosaur.
The Good Dinosaur,
you just showed. And while this isn't as low effort as the Good Dinosaur, it's kind of on that level where it's just not all that well thought out. It's almost like a weekend toss off. It's just as far as writing the script and the idea. I think the voice talent is, like I said, is on point. It's a simple story. Pretty cliche. You can name all the places it's pulled from. And the jokes, they're mildly funny, but so much of this kind of humor with medieval fantasy creatures was done so well in the first two Shrek movies.
They've created jokes that would work better for a sitcom.
Yep.
This is a sitcom. It would be great as a sitcom because for a sitcom, we're not expecting a whole lot of deep story. When we watch sitcoms, like we go to the drive-thru to get a burger. You know, we're not we're not really expecting a lot of deep shit out of these characters. We're just expecting these situations that we kind of can relate to, and then we just want to laugh at the characters. And that's the thing about a sitcom, man. That's why sitcoms work, because they don't need to have a deep story. What they work with is that they're relatable on small chunks, and then over time the world works because you spend so much time with the characters that they become your friends, they become your family, and you accept the world for them. When you're working with a movie like this, where you have a lot of heavy world building to do, that kind of shorthand writing for jokes and visual gags, that's not going to work that well.
It really doesn't. It took a short while to go, okay, this is not going to be one of their best.
No, it's not, and I can tell you, when you're watching it, I mean, they know the animation is going to be on par. You know, it's going to be great. They know that it's going to work. This movie has a lot of energy because of the color. The color brings a lot of energy to this film. You're always looking in the background to see what new creatures they're going to make.
Yeah.
There's always interesting to see how they're mashing up all these different creatures. A lot of crowd shots where it's just so many different kind of mythological creatures and monsters and whatnot, fantasy creatures just blended together. That's a lot of fun. You're never gonna your eye, like right here, your eye is never gonna be not busy just scanning the room or the area or the background to see what they've done with the characters. You know, and plus you're always looking to see how they're gonna modernize the fantasy world. I'm not saying that maybe the jokes don't always work, but it's interesting to see some of the things they do, except when they force a joke, and then that's when it's kind of lame.
Or when it's a joke where you go, huh, that might have been funny, but it kind of contradicts a lot of things you said earlier.
Yeah. You know, looking at this, Martin said the voice acting is very good, and it is. It is. When I'm watching this, listen, it's not that I did not like Ian and Barley. Ian, who was Tom Holland, and then you have Barley, who is, what's his name?
Chris
Pratt. It's not that I didn't like them, but again, they're typical for this format.
They are.
Ian, who's Tom Holland, but Ian and Barley are the typical odd couple. Ian is irritatingly shy.
Yeah.
Ian ain't got he's not bullied. And I know people are shy, but people are actually ready to hang with him. I don't know what is going on with Ian, the way but he everything up, and it's kind of his own fault because people are like, "Hey, I heard you having a party.
I mean, you can go if you want. Yeah, maybe
women are just kind of like, "Shit, I was gonna." But you over here stuttering and stammering and shit. I don't know what's happening. You know, it kind of feels like that forced shyness.
It is. This is something that's just been. It's like a plague within movies and TV shows and sitcoms where you have the nervous character who is too nervous and won't stop talking to a point you're like, wait, is something mentally wrong with you?
Yeah.
The whole like, oh yeah, I thought I'd have a party. Oh yeah, man, you having a party? Can we come over? Yeah, I mean, it probably won't be that fun. I mean, it's not gonna be that fun. You shouldn't even come by. It's like, why'd you even say all that?
And then they don't even laugh at him when he leaves. They all like, the what's wrong with him?
Yeah, what just happened here? Yeah. I thought we were going to a party.
Yeah, they
you really, just uninvite us?
They don't set up. No, that is sort of what happens. And they don't set up a reason for him to be like that.
There's no reason
Yeah,
at
because
all.
you're right, because he's not bullied.
He's not bullied. They don't even look at when he leaves. They're like, "Geez, that guy's weird." They're just kind of like, "Man, I hope he comes around. I hope he gets help."
What's he
like
so
him.
nervous about? We like him.
What's going on with him? His brother, Barley, man. Barley comes in.
That name, I'm
Barley is the kind of dude that gives millennials a bad look, man. He's just a big old dumbass. He's still at home, living with his mama, probably smoking some magical weed and shit. They don't show you in the movie, but you know he's doing that.
Yeah.
Playing games all day on his mama's table, playing the role-playing game instead of going out and getting a goddamn job.
Is he grown?
He's grown.
Oh, he's grown?
He's in his 20s. He ain't no teenager.
Yeah.
No, he needs to get the out of the house and get a job.
Yeah, his mom even makes comments every so often about it.
Yeah,
About what, being grown or get out of the house?
Both.
and for a dude who's such a up, he's the one that's the loudest one in the room. Yeah. Behold, the foul people, Barley is upon you, and that's why the whole town talks about Barley. No, they do. Every time when they don't think Barley's around, everybody's like, Barley ain't shit. They
think Barley's around.
Barley's a up. They even say it. Yeah. I'll tell you this. I don't hate the characters at all. I don't hate them. It's just that they're bare on characterization and personality because they're kind of they live up to their title. As I always say, I'm the shy guy. I'm the loud doofus. I'm the loud dumbass, and they just play that up because we just need them to be different from each other. The movie is never bad. It's just lacking in that it never takes full advantage of its potential.
That's it. The whole time watching it, I was like, so much this could be doing. I can just think of so many things places this could go.
Yeah.
And they're just not interested in doing that. It's like one of those flying unicorns that just can't lift off the ground.
Yeah. They have some funny scenes with magic, man. There's a scene where Ian and Barley have to disguise themselves in a magical costume. I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but they do something. They do a lot of real funny bits with that. And so when the movie's doing that, I'm like, okay, I wish you were doing more with this because this is not just a gag. This is playing into the story. Mm-hmm. There's a scene that's actually very moving and also very funny where he has to say goodbye to his girlfriend. If you see it, the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about here. And I thought that was kind of a clever moment. I guess I'm never having a bad time. I'm as I said, man, I'm most of the time I'm watching, I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny, or that's cute well, that's a way to pass time. Mm-hmm. There's nothing here where I ever said, oh, that's that old Pixar magic, boy.
Yeah, even though it's about magic. Honestly, it's a movie about magic where there's so little of it.
Well, I tell you what, the movie actually is at its best with the dad stuff. This movie does more with half a man than some movies does with a full man. They do so much with a pair of slacks and some hush puppies in this. Hush puppies. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, he's half a Walter White.
Yeah.
Looks like it. Yeah.
Nah, man, they actually do a lot with that. They do a lot in the scenes where they're playing with this concept of them having half a dad and not even the half that matters, just a pair of legs and some feet. That's the Pixar that takes concepts like that and really builds on them.
Sure.
And makes them weird. That's up territory where this is just going in all kind of crazy places.
Yeah.
This movie had a chance to take full advantage of going all kind of crazy places.
And see, you're right. When it gets to that feels like, okay, that's Pixar. But that's only a quarter, maybe even a fifth of what this movie is.
They could have done so much. Now, I don't know, because Pixar going to come back and they're going to probably tell you, well, shit, we only had half a man to work with and wasn't much we could do. Now, you know what? That's what this is what the movie should have been playing on the whole time. Mm-hmm. I ain't talking about that Weekend at Bernie shit that we saw y'all playing on with here. No, they have moments to do some really great, funny and imaginative things with this concept of just having a pair of legs. People, that is hardly played with. While I'm sitting up here and it sounds like I'm being heavy on the movie, I will say that they waited until the last goddamn minute to actually pull a Pixar.
I thought that too. I was like, well, they had one job and they weren't able to do it, and I was like, all right, goddamn it, you threw it in at the last minute. I was getting up out of my chair to go, and then you threw it in there.
the stuff that we're talking about with the dad, the characterization with these brothers, they do all that shit at the end, at the last minute. The movie actually they pull this out at the last minute. And it is the emotional moment that you are expecting from Pixar. In fact, you almost get mad about it. You sit up there crying like, man, you could have done this the whole time. Why you do this now?
You know, bring this shit up now.
Yeah. I already wrote the review.
Yeah, man. It makes everything a whole lot clearer, makes a whole lot more sense with the relationships, the family dynamic, the whole theme of what they're doing with fatherhood here. At the end of this, all of it makes sense. What they do at the end of this movie is actually amazing. Pixar, they know how to make stories that not only about, again, family, but also about sacrifice. And they have a way of doing it in a very sweet way here, man. I'm like, man, where was that movie for the last hour and a half?
I'm telling you, man. That's why it got me, it hit me, but at the same time, I'm kind of resentful that it really was the last minute, and that's why I looking back, I was like, I feel like they tripped into that, or they had it at the beginning and it got set aside and forgotten about it. Somebody like, we got to put this part in there.
Yeah, no, that's a great way of putting that.
Because it felt like it was like the story was done.
The guy's like, damn it, I knew I shouldn't have gone to lunch.
Yeah.
Put this in there, goddamn.
It's like they were talking about, all right, roll credits. Stop! Hold on! Stop! We got it. We got the movie. It was meant to stop. Hold on.
Yeah, the heart is all right here.
It's frustratingly lacking in its potential, but there's a lot of things that as we said, it did right. We named those things, including one thing we didn't name was I thought it got the gay character right. Everybody's talking about the gay character that's in there. There was a gay character.
Oh, yeah.
And and it's just they handle it right. So I feel like this is really this is a good character right here. Not in the movie long. So it's like, hey, if you can take that and actually use that as sort of a lesson on how to like work a social theme or a character into a movie, then that's the way to do it. I think that is Lena Waithe, who plays Officer Spectre. She's a policeman Cyclops. So it's
so it's a transgender character?
No, I think she's lesbian.
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't turn.
And who's playing it?
Lena Waithe. She was in Ready Player One. For me, as I said, I don't think they told their story effectively. However, I did enjoy it. There is a lot of things in the movie that works. Most on kind of a cute level or just kind of like, a small, funny level. But it's not definitely, and I tried to keep from comparing it to Pixar too much through the interview because I want to look at this movie on its own. But you do have to walk away saying, Pixar, not one of the strongest at all, man. I give it a matinee.
It feels more like a really good pilot for a TV series.
Yeah.
Like I could see them if they're got plans to run this as a series on the Disney Plus.
Yeah.
This would be a good way to kick it off because there's so much you could do with that world that they don't do here.
Yeah.
So it seems like, hey, we're holding it back because we want to have it play out over the course of the series. It's a low matinee for me.
Yeah. No, Chris Ayers already spreading lies. Corey Coleman is racist against D&D players. Yep, tell him.
The thing is, I think they should have their own bathrooms. Sit in the back of the
Keep your damn dirty dice in your pants. But over here on DTmerch.com, we got the size that fits all, man. We got all that toasty goodness for different body shapes over there. We don't discriminate against anyone for that classic black tee with the white logo. We know it's in demand. We know who are we to deny people that toasty goodness like that. Many sizes, if you got a big ass body, that means you got big ass feet. We can fit those too with those slides that we have right there. Got a big ass head too. Hey, we can fit that.